I'm sure it's clear. It wasn't clear before. Recording. Thanks a lot, Yak. Nice to see you, Viggy. Is it clear, Viggy, or a little bit? Perfect. Menachem Snyder, thank you for being here. I'm unmuting you. Menachem, how are you? Let's unmute. I'm trying. Menachem, could you unmute Menachem Snyder? Not working? Not working? Tazay. We want to hear. How are you?
Amazing, amazing. Thank God.
Are you singing tonight for us? When's the lucky night for us, Menachem?
Nah, definitely not tonight.
Okay, you tell us tomorrow night. Excellent. I want Daniel Klein to hear you. Let's unmute Daniel. Ozzy, how are you?
Good.
Daniel, how are you?
Good, Rabbi. We're great.
I'm so happy to see you. I'm really happy to see you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Aryeh, Daniel, and Ozzy. Thank you, guys. Whoa, Akon popped on. Okay. Aaron Friedberg, thank you for being here. Aaron, thank you. We're going to start up in a moment. Thank you, Yossi and Akiva. Thank you, Hillel. Naftali, thank you for being here. Thank you, Naftali. Thank you, Avrami. Tzvi, thank you for being here. Ari Nachman's here. Maish Katz is here. Excellent. Maish, you came and you brought Mendy. Thank you. Shmuel Grossberger, thank you for being here. Thank you. Excellent, excellent. The Mishnah, we're up to the second parak of Avos. Ria, are you ready to go? We're up to the second parak of Avos, and we're up to Mishnah Yud. And it says, Ria, it says, Chamisha Talmidim Hoyel Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai had 5 students. It says the 5 students, and it says, Hu Yamayne Shvachan. And we asked last time, what is this expression? He was Mayne Shvachan. It says he Mayne, a very interesting language. It should say he was Misaper Shvachan. He related. Sefer is to say over their praises. What does it mean he was Mayne? He counted their praises. What is that very unusual word? Every word, this is Mishnayos. Every word is measured and counted. And it's such an interesting word. He was Mayne Shvachan. Instead of just saying he was Misaper, he related, he was Mayne Shvachan. I want to share something with the Chevra that I'm going to tell you. For many years, I made the following observation. I'm going to tell you the story that happened. For many years, I made an observation. I would be told on a certain bacher that he's not the smartest. They would tell me, people would tell me, maybe I get a report from a Rabbi, maybe I get a report from a friend. He's not so smart. And I started seeing that often a bacher who had a very, very difficult background and a difficult upbringing, and I would see that it would affect the kishrin intelligence. And all of a sudden, I would see this bacher get warmth. get stable love, get a certain respect, and the guy would become brilliant. I would see the guy is mamish and ilu, he's a genius. This happened many times till I started being convinced that often we decide on people that are not smart, and traumatic experiences cause that the person, it's very scary to use our brains. It's scary to use the cortex and think and analyze. It's a scary world out there. And a person whose life was difficult is afraid of new information. New information scary. Little kids always like the old. You'll see on your own kids, Rary, you're going to ask them, what book should we read? They'll always ask you to read the same book. I like the kids' books are cool. But if somebody could tell Yisrael Meir, I want to read the next Curious George. We always have to read the same Curious George. Just grab an interesting book to see the mischief he made and how it works out even better. It's pretty cool. But kids love routine. They like same old because it's predictable. The unusual out of my routine, you need a lot of courage. And somebody whose life was not so stable young is afraid of new. It's a scary world, the world of new. And as such, to enter in their minds in new places, they're scared. They just grab on to what's predictable and sure. And it affects their mind. And I started saying that a bacher gets love, acceptance, respect. He becomes smart. I saw this over and over and told people I was close with my observation. So a guy showed me that there's a neuroscientist. He's from the biggest neuroscientists in the world. You could look him up. His name is Dr. Bruce Perry. You could look it up. There's a neuroscientist, Dr. Bruce Perry. And Dr. Bruce Perry, with studies, detailed scientific studies, found that people who didn't have a stability in their life, in their upbringing, they're impacted and it affects their brains. It affects their intelligence. Bruce Perry said that we spend millions and millions, hundreds of millions, perhaps billions, on remediation, on catching kids up, Kriya help, all the help, remediation, to try to catch up the kid who's behind. He said we spent maybe billions of dollars. He says it's a waste of time. He says we should use that money better for two things. A guy thought of this. He said better use the money, one, for shalom bayis, for courses on teaching to create more stable homes, and the other to give consistent love to a youngster. Give him consistent love, and all of a sudden he can read, he can understand. The brain opens up. He says it could take a year of consistent love, 2, 3, and all of a sudden the guy gets smarter. These things were tested. Baduk Menusa, tried and tested. He describes, which will be later in the Mishnah, specifically the first year of life. Bruce Perry says that if you have somebody who the first year of life wasn't stable, and the next 18 years old, the parents got healthy, and 18 years of stability. So you have a 19-year-old, year number 1 was unstable, 18 years of stable. You have another kid who had the first year was stable and 18 years of fights. He said the first year is much more impactful. That kid who had a first year of instability, it affects the brain more. But their brain studies, they could show brain studies in families where there was trauma and upheaval and not consistency, and it affects the brain. And they have studies to prove it, scientific studies. Now, my friends, it's only you and I, because we don't take, I shouldn't say you, I shouldn't blame you. It's only we don't take the words of the Gemara seriously enough that I had to come to Bruce Perry. So I needed to hear a guy, whoa, Bruce Perry says, we don't need Bruce Perry. Wonderful, Dr. Perry, you're wonderful. He's a good person doing good things. But we don't need Dr. Bruce Perry to teach it to us. My friends, it's a Gemara Tainis Tafches. The Gemara Tainis Tafches Samad Aleph. It's a Gemara. Now, we don't need supports to the Gemara, but because we don't take a Gemara seriously enough, so then we need to learn a piece of science, and then the Gemara says it, but we pass by the Gemara. We don't pause, think about it, understand the ramifications. But we're going to start being more careful about Divrei Chazal. Listen, Yo Rahmani, what the Gemara in Tainus says. Says the Gemara. Reish Lakish Amar, Reish Lakish says, is Zayin Amud Beis at the bottom, to Ches Amar Aleph at the top. It's a Gemara, Tainus, Ches Amar Aleph, and it's a Rashi in Yevamos, Kuf Yud Zayin. Chesky Silverman, my Taira Chaver of Chesky, showed me the Rashi in Yevamos years ago. Reish Lakish says, Imra'isa Talmud, if you see a student, ahead of the Gemara, I'm sorry. Let me find the exact place. Rava Amar. Rava said, Imra'isa Talmud, Chesam and Aleph the top. I apologize. Imra'isa Talmud Shalamudai Kashalov. If you see a student who has difficulty in learning, it's not going in. Lemudai Kashalov, it's not going in. Bishvil Rabbi, he says it's Lemudai Kashalov Kibarzo. His learning's hard like metal. Impossible. It's gainish. It's not going. Bishvil Rabbi She'enoi Masbir Loi Panim. It's because of the Rebbe doesn't hold of him enough. Einoi Masbir Loi Panim, doesn't smile at him enough. Doesn't accept him enough. If the Rebbe would be Masbir Loi Panim, Sefer Panim Yafai, smile at him, hold of him, appreciate him, his brain would open up. Open Gemara. Gemara. If a town was kashal of limudai, the Gemara blames the Rebbe. She'enoi masbir lo panim. If the Rebbe would hold of him and be machsh of him and give him a consistent chizuk, would validate him, would be maimin, would stand him up, he would become brilliant. It would push itself. It's b'shvil Rabbi Stach Gemara. Rashi says in Yevamos Kuf Yud Zayin. Rashi in Yevamos Kuf Yud Zayin says if the rabbi is masbir loy panim machkim loy mimeni, you get smart from him. Vim lav, and if not, you don't get smart. This Mishnah, perhaps Rabbi say, where it said Rabbi Yochanan and Zakkai, it doesn't say he said their praises. He was mined. He counted. There's a mashmais of mine, and I saw in the Mefarshim that it means he didn't say it out loud. To be mine is to count something for yourself. He wasn't saying it for the student to hear. He was counting something that he consistently did. I once told the Rebbe, you won't have atzlacha with your bachrim until you're on vacation with your wife in Honolulu, and you can't stop thinking how amazing the chevra is. It's not what you tell them. It's not a trick. You say, oh, you're such a nice guy. Trick number 103 in the Chinuch book. No. Until you're that you hold of the person, until you're alone, not in front of them, and you're nishtaiming from the mensch, you just can't, you're amazed by the greatness of the person when you're talking to your mishpacha. When he was minor shvachan, doesn't say he said it. He was calculating and thinking about it. He related to them through their shvach. He was minor, not something he did externally. It's something he did internally. He was minor. He was calculating their chashivus. He was constantly calculating their specialness, and then dealt with them with a saver panim yafos. And of course, Klal Yisrael got 5 amazing talmidim. Klal Yisrael, the amount of Torah, you and I are different, because Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai was minor shvachan shalus talmidim. He would calculate the praises of his students, cheshboning, thinking it out, developing in his mind an appreciation of each one. That caused the greatness of the students to emerge. I always say, Rabbi say, there are 3 types of teachers. And I beg the chevra, teach Torah, and you'll be the following. Shmuel Grossberger, there are 3 teachers. Every group of chevra, every class has the star of the class. No matter how weak, strong, every group. I'll tell you a statistic nobody can argue. 10% of every class is is the top 10%. Every group has a 10% that are the top 10%. In every group, it's that way. There's a group that's smart, motivated. Any Rebbe, Rabbi say, any teacher, this is nothing. To have the best few kids doing well is no trick, because it's motivating to be at the top, getting the best grade. They're just, and that alone feeds itself. The kid who davens geschmack, and the Rebbe is so proud, and his mother's so proud, and his father, everybody's proud of him. So that motivates him. Beseder. In every group, there's the best kid. Beseder. And anybody, if somebody can't help the best one soar, so then he or she is missing something. But the best one is motivated. That's one teacher. The best one remains the best. A little bit better of a teacher could get more kids to be part of that group that's the best. But that's not a Rebbe. That's not what we're talking. That's not Rabbi Yochanan and Zakkai. It's not our Messiah of Torah. The Rebbe who we want, and we want you Chevra to be Rebbeim, values each person. If the 30 kids feel, I am a top guy. Nobody on purpose makes a bacher, a boy or a girl. I remember my wife and I met with a young lady, and she cried to us. She said, I feel like a Rishanta. No teacher said to her, you're evil, but she was made to feel schwach and weak. She was made to feel by accident. It wasn't a murder b'nezid, it's a murder b'shaygig. But she was made to feel, not geschmack, not talent, not tap. And a good Rebbe, Rabbi say, a good Mora and a good Rebbe, every kid in the class is a star. Everyone. There's no exception. It's not what you tell the kid. It's what the kid knows you think about them. Every kid knows it. Every kid in the class should know that you nishtaimim from every kid in the class. And you calculate it. You have to be minded. It's an inner work that you work on it, say it, think about it. You're constantly thinking about the Maila. You're relating to a person who's about Maila. It was a wonderful, all the kids know you're nishtaimim from this kid. And all the kids know you're nishtaimim from that. That's a Rebbe. That's a teacher. That each one, there are 20 kids in the class, there are 20 superstars. If they're 30, then they're 30 superstars. That is the Avodah. That's what it says here of Yochanan and Zakkai. 5 Talmidim, he was moina the shvach of every single one of them. Of each and every one of them, he was calculating the praise. This is what the Gemara Tainus teaches us. If you see a Talmud Kashav Lavlimuda, he's not making breakthroughs in learning. Bishvil Rabbi Sheina Mazbar Loipanim, it blames the Rebbe that he's not holding him enough. He's not machshav him enough. If he'd be machshav, it would open up the brain. The experience shows this is true. You could try it. It's baduk and menusa, tried and tested. But you need it consistently, not over a month, 2 months, 10 months, a long time, consistently, and it has to be real. You have to be moine shvachan. You have to calculate it and know it. If you tell people anything, it doesn't work. Tricks don't work. If it's a trick, you tell a guy, wow, you're amazing. It won't work. What do you see? Till you calculate the maila, till you develop and have it down pat, a maila, shvach, a praise that you're nishtoimeh from at that point, and you believe it, and you be'emes believe it, and everybody knows you hold that way to the core of your being. You hold that way. So then a person has that consistent belief in self, that consistent respect, that consistency in their life. It opens up the mayach. All of a sudden, the guy's a Zabal Kishran. He trusts himself or herself. They trust what they're thinking. They start gaining confidence in what they're saying. All of a sudden, you see a Rizik of Al Kishran emerging. We don't need, certainly it's wonderful, Dr. Perry said it, but let's learn Torah more carefully. We run by this Gemara in Tainus without calculating ourselves, without sitting down and understanding what the Gemara is saying. If you see a Talmud Kasha Lovely Muda, the Shul Rabbi Shein Masber Loipanim. It's the Rebbe is not believing him enough. The Rebbe believes him enough, it opens up the Mayach. He says brilliant svaras, fascinating things he has to offer. The Mitzius bears this out, Rabbi say. Anybody, Mendy Katz is involved with Bachram. I guarantee his students, check it out. his students' IQ over the year will go up many points. You can check it out. It's pashut like that. The IQ, you'll find smarter guys. Because somebody believes in the chevra, each one, and he sees milus and works to see milus. You don't have to work so hard. We're precious people. You see milus, you masbel upon him. The guy opens up. He becomes a bright person. Let us see Rabbi say weiter in this Mishnah. So the Mishnah, we already said Eliezer ben Horkenes is a bar sud she'enoi ma'abed tipur. Eliezer ben Horkenes doesn't forget anything. Yeshua ben Chananya, the second phrase about Yeshua ben Chananya, and he says about him, Ashrei yoladetoi, fortunate is the one who gave birth to him. What is the praise? He praises his mama. It says Ayomayne Shvachan, he praises, he relates their praise, and here it says Ashrei yoladetoi, fortunate is his mother. What praise, Daniel Klein, what praise was Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai saying on Rabbi Yeshua, Daniel? He said about Yeshua, fortunate is his mama that taught him Torah. People meet Daniel Klein, they say, fortunate is the parents who raised him. Fortunate is the yeshiva. Where'd you learn? You're an advertisement for our yeshiva, Daniel. So what is this praise of Rabbi Yeshua? Ashrei yoladetoi. Fortunate is his mother. What is the specific praise? So I would like to share 3 pshatim, what he was saying, what praise about Yeshua was he saying. So probably the most famous pshat is the Yerushalmi. Yerushalmi says that Yeshua ben Chananya, when he was a little child, his mother would bring his crib to the Beis Medrash. She wanted him to absorb divrei Torah. So it says, Ashrei yoladetoi, fortunate is the mama, she used to bring him to the Beis Medrash. So he absorbed divrei Torah from youth, Yerushalmi says. So that's Yeshua ben Chananya. What's the praise of him? So that's a praise of his mother. His mother brought him to the Beis Medrash, and he would absorb divrei Torah. Viggy, I'm going to share something with you I've never said publicly. We covered this gathering. I want to share this with Daniel Klein. I've never said this publicly, this word. I want to share something with the Chevra. Please hear me out, Noach Tzvi. I think this might be emes. Really, if you ask Rav Geisler if I'm right. Says here a praise of Rabbi Yeshua, lucky is his mama. We have a Yerushalmi that his mother brought him to the Beis Medrash, so she wanted from young ages he should absorb divrei Torah. Should be in his bones. Should be in his bones. Ashrei yoladetoi, lucky is his mother. What I'm asking Chevra is, what I'm bothered by is, it's not a praise of him. It's meine Shvachan, it says his praise. What's his praise? His mother used to do a gewaltige Sach. Daniel, listen to me, and I want everybody to hear this. Years ago, I had a guy, Zephy Katz, listen to this mice. I said this mice before David Tillum. Mayor Foster, I want to bring something out, Benny Stein, with this mice like this. Years ago, there was a guy, I asked a guy, a beautiful person, he's married with kids today, what a home he has. I asked this guy, I come up to him, he was in the Beis Medrash. I admit, maybe I shouldn't have been mevatel him, but I wanted him to come for a Shabbos Suda. So I tap him, and I say his name, we'll call him Baruch, it wasn't his name. I say, Baruch, could you come to me for the Shabbos Suda? Would you come? Shabbos day, I lived right near the yeshiva at that point, that time, and I was teaching Torah in the Beis Medrash, and I said, Baruch, would you come to me for Shabbos? He did Shmuley Grocery, he did a shocking thing. He turns around and he says, no! I jumped back. I was literally scared. He turns around and shrieks, no! So I was like, whoa, okay, I'm sorry. I was asking if he'd come for Shabbos. What happened? Really, what happened was, he was by nature not a very assertive person. He was pushed around by people because he didn't know how to say no. And he wanted to become a more assertive person. So what he did was, your first day, he was practicing saying no. Now, I just asked him, would you come for a Shabbos Suda? But for a guy who's pushed around a lot, and because he couldn't say no, to him, that's like saying, you have to come to me. That's what it is, because he's always pushed around. And he's trying to get some space for himself that he's a Bailam, rightfully, he's a Bailam. Nobody can force him, he's a person with choices. Now, when he's healthily assertive, he would turn around and say, Rebbe, thanks so much for the invite. This week, I think I'm going to eat in yeshiva. If I can, maybe he'll explain it, maybe he won't. There's a healthy way to be assertive. But Viggy, his first step of being assertive, it shoots out. Now, today he's a healthy, assertive fellow. If you ask him something, he could say no, he could say yes. He's developed a healthy ability to be assertive. Daniel Klein, did you see anybody? Have you met people who are trying to do things in Torah? I'll give another mashal. We learned the Mishnah, you should greet everybody with a smile. Daniel, did you ever meet a guy who in a frum way is trying to do a Mishnah? He forces a smile, hey, and he, like you can sense, he doesn't feel excited to see you. He's forcing, he's being frum. He's trying to do a pu'ula. The goal is to get it deep inside of ourselves, that it's not an external thing, but to be kinda, to acquire the midah. Often when we're setting out to acquire something, at first it comes in a very unnatural way, and it doesn't come out smooth. The goal, Daniel Klein's a smooth guy, he's a comfortable, smooth fellow. The goal is to get it smooth and comfortable. I picked Daniel, I picked it Tzaddik, but I'm going to give a very sports visual. When we practice a certain slam dunk, the guy jumps through the roof. When we practice a move, at first it could be a little forced. With enough practice, it becomes natural and it becomes just comfortable and smooth. The first time we try it, it's a little uncomfortable. It's rough around the edges. The goal is to get it part of yourself till it's comfortable, till it's part. I remember guys join a basketball team, and after they learn a play, they're like, I got it. What does the coach make us do it again and again and again? What they don't know is that under duress in a game, you go back to old habits. Whenever you have duress, you forget things that are not deeply you. The only way that you can keep doing it under duress is if you practice again and again and again until it becomes you. Then at that point, even under duress, you do it, Rabbi say, because it becomes you. If you practice the play enough repetition, then even another school, Frisch, is pressing us, but we have the play down in our bones that we do it even under stress. That takes a lot of repetition. The goal in Avodas Hashem is to get things comfortably us, not to do it in an uncomfortable way. We've all been around people that are doing something that's very frum, but it comes out rough. It's its own version of that screamed no. They're doing frum things, but it's not comfortable. It's just like, whoa. It's like very unset. You know, Daniel, you know what I mean? You ever saw that? Like a guy doing such a frum thing, but it's unsettling. It's not in a comfortable way. The goal of Avodas Hashem is to make it so deeply in us. It's done in a natural, comfortable way. It takes a lot of slow work, careful work, not jumping steps. It takes a lot of intelligence to think through how to slowly make it part of myself, slowly and comfortably, till it becomes part of who I am. Rabbi Shua ben Chananya, really, what I want to say, Pshat, Ashrei Yoladatoy. His mama brought his crib to the Beis Medrash. She wanted the ideas and the ideals of Torah to be in his bones. He should be somebody who grew up to the point that the Torah values are just so natural, so comfortably him. It's a praise of Rabbi Yeshua. His mother certainly started that process by raising him from young ages in purity. From when he was a little baby, she brought his crib to the Beis Medrash. But the milo of Rabbi Yeshua was he somebody that the Torah was deep in his bones. It's a milo of the person themselves. David HaMelech says on himself, Ani avdecha ben amasecha. I am your Eved ben amasecha, son of your maidservant. So certainly he was giving credit to his mama for his success. But he was saying that my steiging is deep in my bones. There's a big difference. An Eved who was born to be an Eved. I was mamish made for this job. I love when somebody's steiging to such degrees that you could see levels of avodah that it's so comfortable to them. It's so smoothly part of them. That perhaps is the pshat, that the compliment of Rabbi Yeshua ben Hananya, Ashrei Eladetoi, fortune is his mama who brought his crib to the Beis Medrash, who wanted him to be raised from the onset with the Derech HaTorah. And Rabbi Yeshua continued such an avodah, and the praise is a shvach of him. His mother started a process, but it's a praise of him. He was somebody who the ideals of Torah was so deeply in his bones. I want to say, we have a chaver, Victor Ben Ayim. I'm sitting next to him on the Zoom. I want to say that Vigi Ben Ayim, I saw early in his career in Waterbury a certain respect of somebody who learns Torah, a respect to a shul, a certain kavod of that which is chashiv. That's the bechena Ashrei Eladetoi. If we raise our children a certain respect to Torah, the crib was in the Beis Medrash from young ages. You could see in somebody it's deep in their bones. This is something we can work on ourselves. It's something certainly we can hand to our children. My goal is not just to say how we should raise our children. I'm talking for ourselves, with intelligence, with sophistication, with repetition, working slowly, and working to get it to a point that it's just part of who we are. That is the goal of the Avodas Hashem. This guy who was working on being assertive, the goal is to be an Ashrei Eladetoi type of assertive. That it's just, wow, you look like you were born to do this and to be this. That's pshat number one, Rabbi saying Ashrei Eladetoi. Pshat number two in Ashrei Eladetoi, lucky are the ones who gave birth to him, is that Yochanan ben Zakkai was saying that he had great kibbud avim. He was praising him, lucky are his parents. He was an amazing mechabed of his parents. That's what Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai said on him. He said Rabbi Yeshua ben Hananya's kibbud avim was murdered. Ashrei Eladetoi, lucky are his parents. He simply was mishabeach his kibbud avim. I was zeicha to sit once a week and hear Divrei Torah from Reb Chaim Brim, different to Kufais. From the great tzaddik, I'm zeicha. My friend Chaim Stern gave me a picture. I'll show you the picture. Hold on. It's one of my prized possessions, partly because I got it from Chaim Stern. That's probably most. But I also have an ava for Reb Chaim Brim. And a picture sits in my study of Reb Chaim Brim. And Reb Chaim Brim told us that if you want to rate a Ben Torah, the area you should measure a Ben Torah is kibbud avim. I heard it from his holy mouth. These ears heard it. He said if you want to measure a Ben Torah, he said you should measure his kibbud avim. That's the measure. It's fascinating when Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai would think about this great Talmud. His first Talmud, he said he never forgot any Torah. When he would think about Rabbi Yeshua ben Hanani, he would think about the kibbud avim. Ashrei Eladetoi, lucky were his parents. He was so mechabed them, such respect and honor, and that's what he praised them. He was praising. He had such lucky parents. He would do anything for his parents. He was a tremendous mechabed avim. That is the second pshat that I want to share with the chevra. Fortune are his parents. Beautiful pshat in Ashrei Eladetoi. The third pshat that I want to share in Ashrei Eladetoi. Fascinating that he picked Ashrei kibbud avim. Fascinating that he picked respect to parents. Irving Carey asked, like, what's pshat? Of all things, kibbud avim, respecting his parents. So it's not such a wonder the Yerushalmi calls kibbud avim chamurais. Perhaps, I don't know if it needs more, perhaps we can add that the chinuch says the shayrish of kibbud avim zakar satoiv is gratitude. So it means the person has gratitude. We're here to be makirei tov. We're here to be people of gratitude. So he has gratitude. I don't know if it needs that. A person, the haschal of a mensch is that he appreciates the one who brought him to the world. His parents and Hashem, Shaloi Shotrim Vadam. He's mechabed his parents. That was the Maila. Third pshat, Rabbi say, and Ashrei Eladatoi. The third pshat is the Gemara in Yuma that Pei Zayin, Pei Vav. The Gemara in Yuma Pei Vav says that somebody who learns Torah, Kara, Vishana, he learns Torah, he learns Mishnah, he learns Gemara, and his dealings with people are benachas, and he deals in a way, his dealings with human beings are beautiful, are with emunah, he's honest, and with midas tovos. So then he's a walking advertisement for Torah. People say about such a person, Ashrei Aviv Shalim De Torah, Ashrei Rabbi Shalim De Torah. The Lashon is Ashrei Aviv Shalim De Torah. So according to this pshat, what Rabbi Yochanan and Zakkai was saying is that Yeshua ben Chananya's midas was sterling. Ashrei Eladatoi is what people would say when they saw him. They saw him, they'd say, wow, amazing parents. Wow, they must have taught him so well. Ashrei Eladatoi was the response to seeing his midas tovos. Steig, learn Torah, and then be a walking billboard, be a walking advertisement for Limud HaTorah, be a walking advertisement to be a Ben Torah. It's funny, one of the best Zoom comments since we began, there have been so many good Zoom comments. Menachem Snyder is a beautiful Yid. He's always encouraging people, just saying nice things. The respect, what goes on Zoom is off the charts. Good jokes. I do the Shuir for two reasons. To say is to learn Torah together, that's the ikar reason. But I also want, somebody told me maybe they should close the chats. God forbid. I want the chevra, give chizuk, jokes, encouragement. We need to be freilich, befrat in these times. We need simcha. So the guys cheer each other up, a good line, a good chizuk. So it's funny, a bacher, one of the beautiful B'nai Torah was saying a shir. It was one of the best lines. I'm not good at doing two things at once, and I don't get much on the chat. I'm getting a little more comfortable, like seeing the chat, my roving right eye, trying with my right eye. My left eye is usually looking at Viggy and his father, but my right eye, I try to like catch what it says on the chats, and once in a while I get like a good joke, a good chizuk. The bladder is being mechaven to the next four things I'm going to say. A lot of geschmacka stuff happens on the chats. The bladder is usually like four things ahead. I noticed. Sometimes I just feel I should say, I don't have to prepare four zachen. Prepare one, they'll tell me the next three. Amazing. But the kitzer is, Rabbi say, that a bacher was speaking. One of the B'nai Torah was giving shiurim. It was probably my favorite Zoom line. And a guy wrote flex. He wrote one word. A guy wrote a comment. He wrote flex. I think it was Yonatan Kleki. Now, could be, I don't even know. It could be I missed. There were four things before and I took it out of context. I took it. I don't know if I had the right shot. I have to ask Yonatan. But Yonatan from Florida, he punched in one word, flex. And I assumed what he was saying. I told my kids the line. I was so fired up. He was saying, this is a flex for Torah. This person with Pashat standing there was such a flex for Torah. A flex when a guy shows off his muscles. It was like the spitz flex. A guy gets up, a Zevi Garala gets up, shares it by Torah with ernstkeit, was oozing with sincerity, oozing with specialness. It's a flex for Torah. Ma briyos oimros. What do people say? Ashrei Rabbi, Ashrei Aviv, Ashrei is Yeshiva. It's pasha a flex for Torah. It's a flex for Ruchnius. It's so encouraging. It's a billboard for everybody showing off sincerity. I'll flex for a minute if you don't mind. This is a flex. This Yonatan Kleki would call this a flex. A little flex. A Ben Torah, a precious Ben Torah. It's a flex. Then you get a guy like that, share it by Torah. Share something. It's a flex for Torah. So it says, the Gemara in Yuma says, Ashrei Aviv Shalom De Torah, Ashrei Rabbi, that was with Yeshua ben Chananya. Ashrei Eladatoi, lucky is the ones who gave birth, means the response to seeing him. There was such precious midos, trumiyos, valuable, adenos, refinement, just a beautiful, developed character. people would respond to him. Who gave birth to this guy? It was Pasha to covet his parents who taught him Torah, a covet his Rebbe who taught him Torah. So that word, this Ashrei Eladetai, I think Yosef cast for the rest of my life. I think when I think of Ashrei Eladetai, for certain when I think of Akamar Yuma, I'm going to remember Yonatan Kleki. I think that one word, flex. What a good comment. I don't remember who was saying the Dvar Torah, but I remember Yonatan Kleki wrote it during one of the Bnei Torah, saying that Divrei Torah, he said flex. So I like that comment a lot. And that's the third pshat in this Mishnah, Ashrei Eladetai, Zebshua ben Chananya was Pasha to flex. I want to ask the Olam that I'm calling a rallying cry to remember this precious Bacher, Daniel Yeshua ben Nachman. I'm asking guys to value the next person, to be mechabed. B'shvil Rabbi she'enoi masbir lo panim. That causes a person to stay locked. His limuda is kasher of kibarzel b'shvil Rabbi she'enoi masbir lo panim. I'm asking the guys, to everybody, to really be mechazik, to be masbir lo panim, to greet people with the chizuk, with the belief, with the kavod, to see goodness in people around us. Unlock all that's in there. It would cause people to get so smart. It's a Gemara Tainus. It's an often a Gemara. It's an open Gemara. If his rabbi's masbir lo panim yachkem imenu, he gets smart. If not, he's not yachkem imenu. Let us be masbir panim. Let us hold with people. Let us value people. So I'm asking Rabbi Isai that we're all mechazik. Yaakov Kalish says it was during Mati Dahan's speech. Yaakov remembers things. It's probably right. That I did catch that comment. That certainly would be a flex, no question about it. Then again, it could have been during Zevi Katz's speech, would have been a flex. It could have been Yosef Kasper singing, Chaim, Guri, and Shlomo. There were a lot of flexes here. But that line of Yonatan Kleki, I appreciated a lot. That flex line, maybe it was when Yosef Naaman shared the return. There were quite a few flexes that have gone on. I want to remind the Olam that Le'ilui Nishmas, that precious neshama, everybody could be mechazik, this Inyan, to hold, to be mechabed the next person, be mechabed your sister, unleash the great koiches that are in there. Be mechabed your brother, be mechabed anybody you can in your bunker, more and better. Work harder at it, stronger at it. It will unleash tremendous, tremendous koiches in the person. It's tried and tested, it's a truth. A Rebbe does as a teacher, it brings out riziga koiches in a person. Tremendous strengths are brought out. We said this morning, I don't want to chazer the whole thing. We said that the belief in the Godin gives garments the power to warm. If you don't believe in a garment, if you mevaze a beged, the beged physically can't warm somebody. If a person is mechabed a mitzvah, it brings out yera mitzvah yeshulam. He shows respect to a mitzvah, the mitzvah uplifts him. Mitzvahs bring kedusha, kifi, exactly the erech that we respect them. That's a human being. The more we respect the human being, the more it unlocks and unleashes the koiches that are in there. The less we respect the person, the less it unleashes. The koiches stay dormant in the person. They're locked in the person. The key to opening up any person is through kavod. There's a reason that David HaMelech, you know what he called his neshama? What he called his soul, he said, kvaidi, ura kvaidi. He called his neshama kavod. He called his neshama kavod. The unlocking of the neshama is the self-respect. Beichalei kula yomer kavod. So Rabbi said, let us really be mechazik, all of us, to please be mechazik. Let me see if I can find, if Sruli Rubin's here, if he could raise his hand. Chaim Schwartz. First we'll get to Sruli there. 1 second. Chaim, prepare the song. You're going to go next. Sruli.
Hi, how are you, Rabbi?
Sruli Chassandanan, how are you?
I'm good.
So nice to see you. How are you, Chassan?
I'm good.
Excellent, excellent. Maybe you'd sing a song for the Olam?
What song? Is there a song where you want to?
One of yours. We want to hear one of yours, really. You want to do Elokai? You haven't done Elokai in a long time. You want a different, you pick, Rev Sruli. You have a guitar there, or just your vocals are good for us?
I have a guitar. I could do the octave.
Oh, okay, excellent. You think Yosef would sing with you?
I'm gonna
No pressure. Nice to see you, Yosef.
Nice to see you too, Rabbi.
Thank you for being here, Yosef. Gorgeous. Thank you, Chassan. Gorgeous.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Gorgeous. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Yosef. Cheering you on. Chaim, you're unmuted, Chaim. Do you have a guitar handy, Chaim?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Rabbi, can I sing Avram?
Could you please? I love that song.
Sure. Does everyone hear me?
Oh, do we hear you? Beautiful. I'm going to mute. It's all yours, Chaim.
Sitting in the hot desert sun, you've been told you'd be on the run, down to Egypt, to Pharaoh's town, to Rome and Spain, and many other lands. But you open your door to tired men, to lonely passers-by, and angels from heaven. Your kindness and your care were known far and wide. Father of a people, your soul is alive. Abraham, are we the children that you dreamed of? Are we that shining star you saw at night? You know it's true, that's why we call you Avinu. Our Father, our pride, we got your soul inside, take us home. You've been through every test, now look small show in the Midwest. A child is born just the other day, and all those gathered there heard his mother say, Paul, it's been 3,000 years, and we've been fighting back all the tears. One man's lullaby, a nation will survive. Father of our people, your dream is alive. Abraham, yes, we're the children that you dreamed of. And we're that shining star you saw at night. You know it's true, that's why we call you Avinu. Our Father, our pride, we got your soul inside, take us home. Our Father, our pride, we got your soul inside, take us home. Our Father, our pride, we got your soul inside, take us home. Take us home.
Chaim, I love you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi.
That song energizes me. Years ago, Chaim, a few years ago, Daniel, were you there? Ozzy, were you there when 8th Day came to Durham? Ozzy Stillman, when 8th Day came to Durham to do that song.
I was there.
You're doing it.
It was one of the most magical moments in yeshiva. My friend Moshe Bree arranged. He knows I love that song, Avraham. That song lights a fire under me. And he arranged, my friend Moshe Bree, that 8th Day came. They played this song in our base measure. Yitzhak Shalom, do you remember? It was like an hour. You remember Yitzhak Shalom? It was tremendous. They played that song. I was with my family at a concert at a Pesach hotel. And the 8th Day came and they said, Kalish, we're going to do Avram for you. So Chaim, I so appreciate you did Avram for the Chevra. Thank you. Thank you, Chaim. Beautiful, Chaim. I really appreciate the Chevra being here. Everybody should have a wonderful, wonderful night. We should share Be'ezeh Hashem in good besuros. We should see good tidings for us, for our families. For Gans Kleiso should see besuros taivas. Have an outstanding night, Rabbi. I thank you so much for being here. Thank you.
Thank you, Sruli. Thank you, Sruli. Thank you, Sruli. Casper! Highlight Ari Malik again. Rondo, baby! Highlight Ari Malik!
Alex!
Wearing a mask.
I was gonna put watch this. Stay on.
Who's the dude? Good job, Chaim.
Tashi Water.
That was harassing me privately on the chat. Ladder! You get paid for it?
What's on your life?
Why do we have to talk to each other? It's just annoying. Thanks, Rabbi Kalish. Hello, Rabbi Kalish. I am still waiting. I know, for real.
All those lines, you finally get a shout out, Mendel. Mendel Snyder, after all these lines, you finally get a shout out. Baby, woo! Sruli Rubin.
Who was harassing me? Who was harassing me on the train? Yeah, this guy.
Here's your time. That's your time.
Sruli Rubin.
Cody's gonna go through the pain.
Sruli,
David.
Sruli, your mama shot the natural. Sruli, you gotta tell me.
It's been a while.
No, it was no 10% less.
How have you been? Man, I gotta go.
Battery life. That's proposal.
He is the host.
Save Casper.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Dolls?
Speaking.
That's
Many?
Dolls?
Many?
No. Are you ready for
I
this?
need a leash.
Many?
No, but are ready today.
Wait, who are you just getting the middle finger?
Snyder.
So,
Snyder, nice cut.
Give it to me.
Yo, show me the sign. Good knees, baby. Woo.
okay,
Violet, go to Night Seder, buddy.
Rabbi, when's David Tellem speaking?
And my Bruni will not approve of that one.
Question.
Yeah, whatever.
Get him, no?
Sruli,
somebody that just loves money.
Sruli, you didn't get my link. I speak every night from 11:30 to 12.
No shot, then.
Yo, Manny, sick goatee you got over there.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Whoa. Then,
Broke it over the screen.
all the way around.
David, you're still on Euclid and Waterbury?
He wants Chazonis about this.
Sruli, I think Morty Howland should speak tomorrow night. No, what do you think?
I'm with it.
I think Morty Howland should start off with a song. Tomorrow start off with a song. Party.
I'm always very sound. Somebody who runs to spend money.
Hi, everyone. So I wanted to speak about this week's Parsha. The Pasuk says, V'ahavta l'recha kamecha. And Onkelos says, Yosef Kasper. That's someone. Yosef,
Fine, sorry.
Morty Hallen giving haircuts. Great cuts. Go to Morty Hallen.
Excuse me,
Yeah,
Snyder.
Morty Howland gives insane cut.
Sruli, I'm only from because of that speech.
You lost. What can you do?